When you want to talk about legendary Japanese idol groups, this is one name that must definitely come up. And yet, they were formed in one of the most unusual circumstances, with hopes for them succeeding not that very high. The true idol underdog story. We're going to talk about Morning Musume. But before we get into that, everyone, I have some shocking news. I got my very first sponsor. Yes, this channel that didn't even have 1,000 subs at the beginning of the year got reached out to. And amazingly, it's for something that I use on almost a daily basis for my work. If like me, you need to regularly scour the internet, there is one thing you definitely need to help stop any chances of hackers or malware infections getting to your precious data. That is of course with a virtual private network, aka a VPN. And if you need a VPN service that will make sure that your IP address is hidden and that your data is encrypted, then look no further than CyberGhost VPN. Their strict no logs policy means that no one, not even CyberGhost themselves, know about your online activity, so you can fully protect your identity. Of course, a big advantage of a VPN is that even if you're traveling, you can change your online location and still watch the content that is available in your country from 40 streaming services. In addition, you can get even better prices on online shopping. One subscription will allow cover for up to 7 devices at a time, so you can also share online freedom without restrictions with your friends and family. CyberGhost VPN has more than 38 million users precisely because it is very easy to use. CyberGhost VPN also has an excellent rate on Trustpilot, so it's definitely one of the best VPNs on the market. Check out CyberGhost VPN through the link in either the description or pinned comment and subscribe for just $2.03 a month. Not only that, you will also get 4 months free, giving you a total of around 84% off. Don't worry though, they do offer a 45-day money-back guarantee and 24/7 customer support. CyberGhost VPN is compatible with most operating systems, so give them a try today. A huge thank you to CyberGhost VPN for sponsoring this video. Whether you're an idol fan or not, in Japan, there aren't that many that don't know the name Morning Musume. They created the foundation for the system for which most idol groups now use, such as graduating and introducing new members, or generations as it would be. The group have churned out numerous hit songs over their 25+ year run, including mega hits like Love Machine, which despite being released back in 1999, remains a favorite for karaoke lovers to this day. Morning Musume were known for their amazing live performances, and in an age where the internet wasn't as widespread yet, you would hear through word of mouth that if you really wanted to appreciate Morning Musume, you needed to see them live. Another element that made Morning Musume stand out was their unusually large female fan base. This is in stark contrast to another group that they are usually compared with, AKB48. Now, to understand how Morning Musume started, we have to look to the group's producer, Tsunku. Tsunku is actually the main lead singer for the rock band Sharam Q, and on a variety program called Asayan, Sharam Q held an audition for a female vocalist called Sharam Q Josei Rock Vocalist Audition. This audition was essentially done in a reality show kind of way, where viewers would be able to watch the whole process as it went along. This may be something fairly common now, but it was a pretty new thing back around that time. Oh, and this was no small audition. Oh no. At first there was a screening process, and anyone who passed would need to sing a song in a cappella. If you managed to pass that, you got to sing in the Asayan studio in front of a live audience. Winners would then be able to proceed to the next stage. This would be done for 4 different cities over the course of a couple of months: Fukuoka, Tokyo, Osaka, and lastly, Sapporo. There were hundreds, or in the case of Tokyo and Osaka, thousands of people that applied, but that number was severely whittled down to 2 or 3 figures for each city after the screening process, with only a small number being able to go through and actually sing at the Asayan studio. In the end, after that whole process, there were a total of 11 auditionees left from those 4 cities that would be able to move on to the next stage. On July 29th, 1997, the remaining 11 would be sent to a temple to live in for a few days as a way to test their fortitude and to also train them for their final test. A typical TV program thing to do. When they arrived at the temple, they were given demo tapes, which had an instrumental version of the song Get, with a female voice humming instead of singing what would be the lyrics. It turns out that this actually would be the winner's debut song, and that the final test was having them sing Get in front of an audience. Now, training at the temple wasn't exactly fun, being given a strict schedule that they had to adhere to. This included waking up at 5 AM and doing chores like cleaning the main hall, scrubbing the floors, and and doing dishes. My guess is that they essentially did what a monk in training would do. To also prepare them for the big day, they also needed to attend dance and singing lessons. And then that day finally arrived, August 3rd, 1997. Each of the girls went on stage to perform the song they had been practicing up until now. After they were finished, they would then be interviewed by the members of Sharam Q. As you can imagine, it was a pretty nerve-wracking time for all of them. And unfortunately for some of the girls, things didn't go super well. For example, Heike Michio actually forgot part of the lyrics. Ishiguro Aya gave a pretty good performance up until the end, where her voice broke. Feeling really frustrated with herself, she even ended up shedding some tears before the interview. After everyone had their turn, Sharam Q would then discuss who would be the winner. But the actual announcement of the winner would be made on August 10th. A week later, and shockingly, the winner turned out to be Heike Michio, the very same person who had forgotten part of the lyrics. Heike Michio's story is honestly one that could be a whole video by itself, so let me know if you'd like to see a video on her. Anyway, as you can imagine, for the losers, it was a painful time. After going through a long and hard process to get to this point, it was now all over. The announcement was apparently made on the birthday of finalist Abe Natsumi, who ended up crying on the flight back home. She cried so much, apparently even a stewardess tried to cheer her up with some sweets. All those that lost tried dealing with the result in their own way. Some, such as Ishiguro Aya, carried on trying to go down the artist route, taking dance lessons and apparently even joining a music contest for teens. But out of the 10 that had lost, for 5 of them, things hadn't truly ended yet. Nakazawa Yuko, Ishiguro Aya, Ida Kaori, Abe Natsumi, and Fukuda Asuka. These 5 were actually called back to appear on Asayan again. This time they were given a new kind of test, but not one where there would just be one winner. Despite being from different parts of the country and even being different ages, the 5 of them would form a unit and were tasked with trying to sell 50,000 copies of what would be their indie single Ai no Tane within 5 days. For Ai no Tane, Tsunku would actually have no involvement in its production. The lyrics would be done by musician and music producer Saiki Kenzo, with the composition done by another musician and music producer known as Sakurai Tetsutaro. This might seem like a monumental challenge, but I can imagine after all they've been through previously, for them this was undoubtedly an amazing second chance to make it big. There was a promotional campaign for Ai no Tane, including a promotional video, but in actuality the girls had nothing to worry about. On the first day in Osaka, they sold over 15,000 copies of Ai no Tane, setting a world record for the most sales of the same CD within one store. Apparently the members were originally supposed to sell the copies just by their own hands, but there were just too many people wanting to buy the CD, so they also cooperated with the HMV store close by so that people could buy it from there too. They held similar campaigns in Fukuoka, Sapporo and Nagoya, but by the 4th day they had successfully sold 50,000 copies of Ai no Tane, and thus it was decided that they would have their major debut. The following year, on January 28th, Morning Musume made their major debut with the single Morning Coffee, starting their legendary journey. Now, Morning Musume starting off so successfully shouldn't actually be a surprise to anyone for one major reason that I touched upon earlier. Since the time of Sharam Q's audition, the members' journey was all being filmed and shown on TV, meaning they probably already had a lot of people cheering them on and wanting them to be successful, even though they were amateurs who had ultimately lost the audition. I mean, if you really think about it, it's probably for very similar reasons why Japanese idols have fans in the first place. Now, having a 25+ year career, as you can imagine, it would be pretty difficult to go over everything that happened to Morning Musume up to this point in one video, so instead I'm going to briefly go over some of their history and basic knowledge that one might like to know. But if you would like to see more videos on Morning Musume, let me know in the comments below. As I touched upon before, Morning Musume brought in the idea of generations, aka new members being added to the group, at a time where that wasn't really viewed as being normal, and apparently it also wasn't initially taken in a very positive way. To fans, the members, aka the first generation, worked really hard to establish the group, and were essentially like, why are these girls who didn't do anything coming in thinking that they could have the spotlight? But members leaving, aka graduating, and the group not disbanding, instead welcoming in new members, would eventually be a system that everyone would come to accept. And additional members was something Tsunku got to working on very quickly, as a couple of months after Morning Musume's debut, he made the announcement on an episode of Asayan that he was indeed looking for new members. In similar reality TV show fashion, the whole process to find additional members was also shown on Asayan. In May, there were 3 winners announced: Yasuda Kei, Ichi Sayaka, and Yaguchi Mari, who would then appear in Morning Musume's second single Summer Night Town, known for being a bit of a sultry song. Morning Musume's popularity would continue to grow, and their third single Daite Horumi would even reach the top spot in the Oricon charts. However, they would also experience what would be their first graduation, as first gen member Fukuda Asuka decided to leave, stating that she wanted to concentrate on her studies, although she would end up dropping out of high school not long after that. Years later on a talk show, Asuka would say that at that time she just couldn't cope with the schedule and couldn't imagine spending her whole life like that. Now, what many would consider to be the biggest turning point for Morning Musume was the addition of their third generation, which was just one member, Goto Maki. Goto Maki became an instant favorite and was even given the center position. The way she looked with her dyed hair, her incredible dancing and singing abilities, and that cool and charismatic aura that she had captured the hearts of fans of various age groups. She was like no other idol before, and along with her debut song with the group being the mega hit Love Machine, a social phenomenon known as the Gomaki boom occurred in Japan, Gomaki being Maki's nickname. To Maki, she just felt like it was all luck, and she didn't even understand what given the center position actually meant. Apparently before joining, she wasn't even all that familiar with Morning Musume's songs or their members. Regardless, Maki's inclusion to the group marked the start of what is noted to be Morning Musume's peak of popularity, dubbed the Ogonki, or the Golden Era, named after the group's golden outfits associated with their 12th single The Peace, which, along with their 11th single Renai Revolution 21, were also mega hits in Japan. The end of the Ogonki is said to have occurred when Abe Natsumi graduated in 2004. By that point, Goto Maki and the majority of Gen 1 and 2 had already graduated, but Morning Musume was already on their 6th generation. Many Morning Musume fans do argue about the starting and finishing points of eras, so feel free to give your opinion in the comments below, but just try to be civil about it. There are 3 more eras within the Morning Musume timeline. The Platinaki or Platinum era, starting from around 2007 and ending in 2010. The Colorfuruki or Colorful era, starting from 2011 and ending in 2014. And last but not least, the Fukumura Mizuki or Fukumura Mizu era, starting from 2014 and ending in 2023. The Platinaki was an era where the group experienced a lack of new members. Instead, with the leader being popular member Takahashi Ai, it was a period where Morning Musume reinvented themselves and became a more redefined dance unit, vastly improving the quality of their performances. Platinaki was said to have been named after their album Platina 9 disc, released in 2009. However, it was also noted to be a time where Morning Musume experienced an overall decline in popularity, making less and less TV appearances. The Karafuruki is said to have started around the time the 9th generation joined, around 2011. Named after their 13th album 13 Karafuru Character, the Colorful era, now with much more younger members, saw a resurgence in Morning Musume's popularity. Compared to the Platinaki, this era was all about more upbeat songs, even incorporating electro beats into their music. The members were also noted to being very unique. Lastly, Fukumura Mizuki, named after the longest serving leader of Morning Musume, 9th gen member Fukumura Mizuki. Anyway, I'm going to stop it here. If you're interested in knowing more about Morning Musume or any other Japan related topic, please let me know in the comments below. Once again, a special thank you to CyberGhost VPN for taking a chance and being my first sponsor. If you want your data secured, your history secured and encrypted so no one knows what you're doing online, check out the link in the description for full internet freedom. $2.03 a month, 4 months free with a 45-day money-back guarantee. Give them a try. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you again so much. I have been wanting to do a video on Morning Musume now for a very long time. There is a lot to go through, honestly, so I know that some people might not be satisfied with everything within this video, but again, if you do want to see more, just let me know in the comments below or on any other topics related to Japan, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you again, guys. As always, peace. Take care. Bye.